Well, guys, here it is, Sonic Heroes. This game is definitely this game is one of the more mixed reception Sonic games out there. However, speaking me personally, I quite love Sonic Heroes. In fact, despite being the worst of the best, it's a great Sonic game. And the flaws that it has is can be a little quite a bit major, but those flaws are able to be looked past by, and I can still have a really great time with this game. And I needed someone to help me with Sonic Heroes, and I got the perfect Sonic fan to help me with that one. Please introduce the Sonic King.
Hey guys, I'm Sonic King. I'm just a huge Sonic fan who likes to talk about anything that strikes my fancy, which is mainly Sonic, but I am open to other things. Sonic Heroes is my favorite Sonic game of all time. Despite how flawed it is, I really love going back to it. In fact, when I first got it, I actually played it for 2 months non-stop until I got Shadow and Riders.
A sweet introduction, as always. Yeah. While I don't love Sonic Heroes at least as much as Sonic King, I still love this game quite a bit, as I said. But how would we want to show our love for the game? Well, in a review that tries to show some details, of course. So there's no Sonic game without a plot. In fact, there's no video game without a plot. At least not any popular video games. Anyways, let's start with the plot. Now, Sonic King didn't record any of the lines for the plot, but it's alright. Anyways, Sonic's story is my second favorite, not just because it's Sonic and his friends, but it's also because it gives me the lighthearted feel of a classic Sonic game, which isn't needed all the time, but it's still very refreshing. Team Dark's story is my all-time favorite story in this game, not just because it has characters from Sonic Adventure 2, but because as it shows the seriousness from Sonic Adventure 2, along with the cheesy and goofy humor that is well suitable for kids. These two parts of the story really shine out, and they're definitely one of the more or worked on stories in the Sonic universe. It also has quite good writing. In fact, if there's one thing that Sonic Heroes does better than Adventure 1, despite the story on its own not being as good, the writing certainly is better. Team Rose's story is pretty charming as well. Not as charming as Sonic and Shadow's story, but it's still pretty lighthearted. They just want to help. Amy and Cream the Rabbit from Sonic Advance 2 wants to help Big from Sonic Adventure or get his rock back. Team Chaotix is nothing special, but they're not too bad. It's just a group of Sonic characters that just wants to get their money back. Story of my life. Everybody has to get all the Chaos Emeralds in order to fight Metal Sonic that's been collecting all the characters' data. After they get all the Chaos Emeralds, all the other teams have to fight Metal Sonic's first form, Metal Madness, and then Sonic and their friends on their super form to take down Metal Overlord. In conclusion, the story is really good. It has some of the best writing in the series, and it's something you would expect from a Sonic game. I personally don't think this is nearly as good as, say, like the Adventure games or Sonic Unleashed, but it's still good. So now let's start with the gameplay. Sonic Heroes has 4 teams. All 4 teams have the same stages. That part kind of sucks, but at least it's a good portion of the stages are fun. And I actually like Sonic Heroes quite a bit, and well, I love it quite a bit, and these stages really show it.
Well, to start, the speed characters are the fastest and can do the homing attack in a tornado move. Espia being unique in this case, as he has an invisibility move which is required for team missions. The fly characters can fly and shoot their teammates at the enemy, and the power characters do all the gliding and punching. Speaking from experience, they can flow really well together if you play strategically. There's also these little dots on the characters' icons that actually represent a level up system. The higher the level, the harder they can hit. Now I would like to bring attention to the game's technical quality across the different platforms it was released on, as it was Sonic's first third-party game. The GameCube version has the best performance, the Xbox is mostly on the same level with it, though it does slow down at times, and the PS2 version being the worst due to low sound quality, only running at 30 FPS, and worse graphics. There is
Quite the stuff to talk about there. Yeah, the team mechanic, it works really well. And I agree with Sonic King that that's definitely a great way to introduce a new game mechanic. I kind of wish it was more introduced. I also like to agree with him on the fact that the GameCube version is the best and the PS2 version is the worst. And I played Sonic Heroes on PC, on a computer, not necessarily a PC, but yeah, it's the same qualities as the Xbox port, but it's just, but I wish I had the GameCube version, but sadly I don't have a GameCube. I wish I did. And now we talk about the stages themselves. The stages are, well, most of them are actually really good. There's actually a good portion of these stages that I do enjoy. Heck, there's even some of them that are some of my personal favorite, that goes in my top 10 favorite levels in Sonic history. One of those levels being Seaside Hill and the Egg Fleet. The Egg Fleet, in my opinion, is actually the best final level in Sonic history. I'm not joking. It seriously amazes me how well this final level is. And considering that final levels aren't usually that good in Sonic games, Sonic Heroes definitely introduces a great one. My only problem with a big problem with Sonic Heroes, though, is that, well, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, along with the other teams, the controls are not very good. The controls are really wonky, and while they're not the absolute worst in the series, seriously, Shadow the Hedgehog made it even worse. I feel like they could have been done a lot better, considering that Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 had some of the best controls in Sonic history, despite them not being quite as good as the classics. I'm also not really a big fan on Team Chaotix. They're kind of like the treasure hunting missions in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but in my personal opinion, even worse. I did say in my Sonic Adventure 2 video that I hated the treasure hunting stages in Adventure 2, but I started to actually kind of like them and consider them not to be that bad. However, my opinion on Team Chaotix still stands, and I really like exploring my surroundings, but with very poor controls like Sonic Heroes, whereas exploring my surroundings won't be a fun time. All the other teams are really fun, but Team Chaotix, because of the controls, could be a lot better than what they were. Team Chaotix is definitely my least favorite story for me. Oh, and that doesn't even compare to the special stages. I won't show them right here, considering that I'm only using one dude for footage. But my god, the special stages are awful. In fact, the special stages are, in my opinion, the worst that the series has ever seen. Despite those three major flaws about the gameplay, I enjoyed Sonic Heroes quite a lot. As I said, it's not one of my top 10 favorite Sonic games, and it's definitely the worst of the best. But as I still said, it's great. In fact, if there's another thing that Sonic Heroes does better than Adventure 1, at least by a little bit, it's definitely the graphics. This game looks quite beautiful. Beautiful. And for an early GameCube title, for Sonic at least this game works really well. This game just looks gorgeous. And the soundtrack, yeah.
Good. I wouldn't call it a fan favorite of mine. I'll go as far as to say it's my least favorite Sonic soundtrack of the 6th gen era. But it does have its fair share of bangers.
Yeah, I'll agree with Sonic King that the soundtrack isn't nearly as good as the adventure titles, but it's still really nice to listen to. In fact, there's actually really good tracks, such as the Seaside Hill, Hang Castle, Grand Metropolis, Bliss, the Spingo Highway, both of the casino levels, and holy crap, what I'm made of. That soundtrack is just phenomenal. It may not be one of my top 5 favorites, but definitely in my top 10. Listen to this. You know, despite the 3 major flaws that I have with Sonic Heroes, with those flaws being really hard to shine over, for the good stuff are able to shine it in it good enough. And Sonic Heroes is the definition of a great Sonic game. And it's definitely a game I love. Again, not one of my top 10 favorites, but it's close. And it's definitely one of the best. And I can see why Sonic King really loves Sonic Heroes a lot. And even why he considers it his favorite Sonic game. I personally don't, but I can definitely see it. While the controls, along with certain bosses in this game, along with special stages and Team Chaotix, while stuff like that can really be annoying, literally as hell, I can look past it and go and visit the good stuff from Sonic Heroes that I love so much. In conclusion, Sonic Heroes is a great Sonic game. It's definitely one of my personal favorites. Not one of my absolute favorites, but definitely one of my personal favorites. This was Sonic Heroes. I want to say thanks to Sonic King for collabing with me on this one. Seriously, this video wouldn't be nearly as good without you. I really do mean it a lot. But yeah, in conclusion, guys, this was Sonic Heroes, a great Sonic game, though nothing more. It's a game that I will show a lot of love for. Just too bad it's not one of the big boys for me. See ya next time.